Okay, we're good. Okay, this is Elsie Mychols, Angela, Estes,
and our Estes, Angie C's cheerleader of life, Angie Seeable on YouTube.
Sweet. And our special guest, would you please introduce yourself and tell us who you are?
Good morning. This is Arayeh Norouzi.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here. Very excited, actually. So I have no idea how it's going to turn out. So I have a little bit of notes, and then we can go over, or we can ask, I'll answer questions. And it's very exciting. Let's start.
Ta-da!
I actually want to start with, because I can talk about conscious parenting, I just want to go direct to the source, Dr. Shefali, who's the forerunner of conscious parenting. Kind of, people have, like, for example, John Gabbitt, he had mindful parenting. This is kind of almost a similar, concept, but she's on Oprah, she's all over the place. He says a conscious parent is not one who fix her child or seek to produce or create the perfect child. The parent understands the child has been called forth to raise the parent themselves, Dr. Shefali. So this is the tricky part in conscious parenting, to raise the parent. So there are all sorts of positive parenting, all those things, and they're all good, but they're missing this element. Which is actually raising the parent itself. So whatever we see, kind of, why is it so revolutionary right now? Because it changes the whole paradigm of parenting. So instead of just controlling the child or maneuvering or all those things, we go back in. What's going on with me that I'm getting triggered? What's going on with me that she's having this tantrum? Why am I taking it so hard? So it's all on the parents. So it's actually completely the parents and no child. So it's really good to have those tools, and people call it. I've been to so many parenting workshops. They call it tool belt. So they put tools in it. They give you scripts. It's good to have them, but really, if you want to be a conscious parent, it's really not necessary. And we're going to talk about those too, because they're kind of necessary before we become conscious parents. It's really hard. I'm on this journey for almost a year and a half, and I'm still having, so it's not easy, because they're all bombarded by these preconditions in us. But it's so hard to find what's going on in us. It's our journey, actually. It's not going to happen one day. By reading the book, it's not going to happen. Yeah?
Arayeh, do you have any earbuds? You're getting a little bit of echo.
So if I have the earbud, then it's going to take the echo off? Okay, let me bring it. Hold on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Do I dare to raise myself along with my child? That is the question. Yeah.
Yes. Don't you?
And the one thing like I've been practicing with, again, our energy healer friend, I learned that bringing presence is most easiest for me when it's behind my eyes. So if I'm looking at my child and giving them my full attention, it's right there, right here.
There she is.
Is it better?
Oh, yes.
Oh, it's better? Okay, awesome.
Good tip, Angela. Okay. All
right.
Thank Randy.
Thanks, Randy.
All right. So I have some notes. I want to go over a little bit of just the whole review of kind of like a summary, how we can go around this. But it is so important, and we're going to touch on this concept. What do I mean by raising ourselves? So every negative
I'm still getting kind of like airplane kind of noise and stuff.
Oh, there's an airplane flying over right now. Yeah, that's a real airplane.
Okay. I thought it's in my head. Okay, so when we catch a negative behavior, actually from anyone, even ourselves, so we have to parent ourselves to be honest. So there are two, psychologically, there are two reasons behind them. And this is a fact. And there's no other reason. So first, the physical need or the basic physical needs, are they met? Are we hungry? Are we tired? Are we out of sleep? Are we out of all those things? So very basic physical needs. And the second one is the psychological needs. What are the psychological needs? We have three, and this is right off the textbook in psychology. One is connection, one is autonomy, and one is competence. So if we do everything for our children, they don't feel that competence bucket full. So we have to give them responsibilities. If we give them responsibilities, that competence, and they will know they can do this. They can fold the laundry. My kids have been folding the laundry since, I think, 2 years ago. And sometimes they're bugged, but it's their responsibility. It's just, So, and then autonomy. Same thing, almost similar. So they have to be, like, if you just tell them, do this, do that, they have no sense of autonomy. They have to decide. That's how we give choices. Go ahead.
Do you reward them? Do you feel that's a necessary thing to reward them for their helping? Okay.
No.
Cool.
So the reward could be just a praise, and the praise is, let me tell you, let me reword that. Praise, no, but acknowledgement. So we acknowledge the good behavior. We say, nice job doing your, I don't want to even use the word chore because chore has a negative sense. So we don't use chore. So we use the responsibility, because in every family, we have responsibilities, and then we have privileges. If we don't take care of our responsibilities, then we have no privileges. So it's the responsibility. So there's no reward I give you. I don't, if it's something extra, maybe, for example, if they mow in the lawn, a neighbor or ours, it's just something extra, maybe yes. But it's like the everyday responsibility, no. And the reward is just, good job doing it so fast. So we describe instead of just praising, or you're a good boy or you're a good girl. First of all, we do not describe the personality at all. It's just the personality is just pure love. We have no right to describe the personality. It's just the action, the task. All right, so competence, autonomy, and connection. So what is connection? We're going to talk about this a lot. And that presence that you said at the beginning, that comes from connection. So it comes from loving words, touching, hugging, just being there. I'm going to talk about it. Maybe it's a good time to talk about it. So I took this positive parenting course, which is, again, not conscious parenting, but I took two things from that course. One of them was this, and we are actually using it. I actually promote it. It's called Mind, Body, Soul Time. MBST, we call it, to be cool. Mind, Body, Soul Time. So it's 2 10 minutes every day with every child individually. So you can have MBST for the whole family or two siblings or whatever, but with individual child. 2 10 minutes. For example, during the weekend, because they're home the whole day, it is completely being present. You do not read for them. If they want to, you can, but it's whatever they want. So it's completely them, and it's completely present. And you actually label it. This way, their tank, the connection tank gets filled, and you can go back to your own chores, to your own tasks. So they're not needy. Oh, give me more attention. So 10 minutes, you're there completely. Oh, 10 minutes is like, oh, mommy has to go back to studying or to washing the dishes or whatever. So they get this clarity that you're important, but also I'm important. My tasks are important. So everything is, is right there. So I really like this. And it's because we're all busy with so many things, and we all feel guilty. Like I myself, I study. I feel like, oh my God, I feel guilty that I'm not with them all the time. But really, they don't need more than that. If you just, direct it, this is 10 minutes. This is me and you. There's nothing else that matters. You and me. That's it. And then they get filled up, and that's it. And I have seen the effect. It really works. So and sometimes when we don't do it, Mommy, you didn't do MBSD. So I'm sorry, you're right. So I drop whatever I have. I go there, and for example, if they want to do board games, which I really recommend, board games are really awesome. And why am I so passionate about this? Because this was my challenge, because my parents did not play with me, and I'm the only child. So I had to learn all these things really with difficulty. And I want to say my kids have been revolutionized since I, learned all these things since past year, because playing is so important. Playing tag, look, I just figured out how fun is that. My daughter is 8.5. I just figured out playing tag with her is all she needs. Like this is like her really utopia, and that's what easier than doing that. Even the house, they really like it. Like we come up with different versions that you can do in the house. For example, if you go like this, you can't be touched. If you go like this, you can be touched, and you just label. So playing is so important that I was missing. And that's the connection, right? That's the connection tank. So connection, autonomy, and competence, and the basic needs, food and sleep and all those things. So whenever we catch a negative behavior, the first thing we do, what's going on? One of these tanks are not full. It needs to be filled, right? Okay, now, so do you have any questions? Yeah.
Yeah, you.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love language. Have you covered love language and knowing your child's love language? Isn't
Sure.
that the tag?
No, sure. Love language, again, that's one of those tools that we talk about. So conscious parenting is a concept. And then these tools, love language is pretty good, actually. Is there a way I can put a link somewhere in this area?
I'm going to send. Yeah, Randy. Actually, and I will supply some information at the end.
Isn't love language just also, it's a tool. It's a tool for somebody who doesn't have the consciousness going on or the awakeness.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But once you have it, then it's simply a name for what you did with the tag.
Exactly. So I just put a link here. That is a direct PDF document for the love languages for the kids.
Oh, of children.
Yeah. So I have for couples if you want. That could be another blab.
Tried it.
Yeah. So, and it's so important. You're right. So to figure out what is the love language of my children, and I did this with my daughter. I haven't done it with my son yet. Actually, and over there I have to go do it with my son. So yeah, of course it's important. What is the love language of my child? Is it quality time? Is it word of affirmation? Is it physical touch? Is it gifts? So there are 5 things going on, and you ask them questions, and so it's a great tool for, of course. And I just put the link over there. Whoever wants it, you can just click on it, print it, and ask it. Anyway, so. Yeah, that is very important to kind of to know how that connection tank is being, is going to be fed. So, and I want to show you a demonstration here. This Susan Stiffelman, she's kind of a conscious parent, but she's pretty conscious, but she's not labeled that way, and she usually comes up with this practice. She has 2 exercises. We probably do both because I really love them. So if I tell you that I'm going to push my right hand to my left hand, okay? I'm going to push my right hand to my left hand. And you can do that too. So what's wrong with this picture? I'm pushing my right hand on my left hand. What's wrong with this picture? What's wrong with this picture?
There's no movement. No movement.
Okay. My left hand is pushing back. That's why they're here. So if my left hand is not pushing and my right hand is pushing, whoop, right? So this is completely natural. When we push, they push back. So in the negative behaviors, if you want to go do it, and it's kind of pushing, ordering and doing it. So they're going to push back because they're striving for that autonomy. They want to get their autonomy. Hey, where's my autonomy? You're telling me what to do. I'm not your slave or anything, right? So this is really, really a good mental picture for me. So whenever I'm like, I become, this is being conscious parent. I become conscious. Hey, I'm pushing. So of course they won't do it. Like, it's just very, very natural. And if they do it, they're robots. I don't want those kids do whatever I tell them to do. So they're going to probably do the same thing in the society. I don't want that. I want them to feel what's right and do that, right? Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, like, when my parent did that to me, I'd close up and I just start getting da-da-da-da-da. But as I got into an adult, yeah, I definitely carried that on like it was normal behavior. And I certainly didn't feel good doing that, which made me unconscious.
Exactly. So there are a couple of things that happen. So either you push back, you become a rebel. So I did that in my own country. That's another discussion again. So I was like a rebel.
Yes, you have to come back.
Or you become, like whatever, do whatever. You become a robot.
A recluse.
And then when you grow up, then woof, it comes out some other place, in your relationship, in your job, blah, blah, blah. So it's something unhealed. It's suppressed, right? So we don't want that for our kids. We don't want anything unhealed laying around there. That's become a conscious parent. That's how we change our world, because this world is suffering right now. I want to say 0.0000001% of the people are completely healed, and those are probably monks. But the rest of the people, they're suffering from unhealed emotions mainly because of our parents and the society and blah, 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 which we're going to talk about right now, actually. So is there any question? Yeah.
Okay, so do you have any tips on how they can know when they're pushing against their child? It's so habit. I found as I'm more awakened, I'm changing even how I walk. So many things are so habitually in there. Is there a tip for how they can say, whoa, wait a minute, I'm going back? How do they know they're resisting or pushing?
Okay, so the first thing, because you already took that first awakening step, right? The first step is to take that step, right? So we're going to talk about it right now, actually. What is that
Perfect.
Step? And as soon as you first take that step, then you become aware, and more aware. And you'll see, oh my goodness, whatever I do is coming from habit. I'm not doing anything mindfully. I'm actually a robot. And that is completely true. I'm telling you, like, I've spent probably 3,000 hours of research in the past 1.5 years. And I'm still like, oh my God, like, I feel so guilty. I'm like, oh, really? I spent so much money and time on this, and I'm still unconscious, because these programs are so, so, so strong. And why? I tell you why. So I told you, I've read 50 parenting books, because when I was the only child, my second child comes and she starts the jealousy thing. And I'm like, what is that? Like, this is so unnatural. I had no idea how to deal with it. So I had to read, literally, I counted the books, over 50 books. And a lot of workshops, a lot of, I even had parenting instructors come to my house, like I paid them. So all sorts of things. There's this lady, which I really recommend. I recommend 3 books. There are so many books. One of the books I recommend, it's called Peaceful Parents, Happy Kids by Dr. Laura Markham. And her website is ahaparenting.com. So her second book is called Peaceful Parents, Happy Siblings, which is awesome. So I went to her workshop. She came to Carmel twice. I went to her workshop both times. So she says, take the vow of celibacy. vow of yelibacy, which is like, do not yell. It's just do not yell. Okay. So I'm like, oh my God, I was in the workshop. Yeah, I'm not going to yell, blah, blah, blah. I get back down the drain, right? So what's going on? We have that intention. So imagine we're taking the first step. We want to be conscious, but it's there. It's like, it's in us, right? My dad was a yeller, still is. So yelibacy. I'm like, oh my God, why can't I do it? So last year when I came to this wonderful company, Achieve Today, and I became a coach there even. So I found out that all these intentions reside in the 5% of the brain, only 5%. So it's like you're rowing, you want to row your boat, and then you're rowing. This is the intention, yelibacy. Why I'm not going forward? Why I'm not going forward? What's going on? And oops, there's an anchor. There's an anchor. That anchor is 95%. And what are those 95%? There are those programs that were actually implemented in our brain, in our subconscious mind. So how? From 0 to 6 years old, children's brain wave is in theta and alpha, which is really low frequency brain. And this is actually similar to the time we are in hypnosis. So in hypnosis, we are very suggestible. Our brain is very malleable. So that's the frequency, brain wave that the children are running from 0 to 6 years old, even to 12 years old. So so imagine this spirit comes, this ball of light comes to this world, and then she or he has to survive. She has to feed. She has to learn how to walk. She has to do all sorts of things. Just clueless, right? So just absorbing like a sponge, right? Because the brain is so suggestive. So whatever we see, we just absorb. That's the way of life that is going to be built until 6 years old and even to 12 years old. So whatever we are running right now, so practically we think almost 70-80% of the thought we think the day before. So we're really robots. So we're running those programs that were implanted in us to 6 years old, and that's scientific. Our brain was in a hypnosis state, right? Whatever you give me. So that's why it is so hard to reprogram, to actually do the yelibacy, keep the yelibacy promise or vow, right? So, questions?
Angela?
No question.
No question. I know you have all these because we're
I mean, I know it's super important to. I think we might have a question. I know it's important.
I don't see any down here. Brandy has one.
Okay.
Views on discipline.
Oh,
discipline spelled wrong, but yeah, discipline.
Okay. All right. What did he say? What was his question? What are
your views on discipline?
Okay, discipline. So we're going to talk about it. So discipline is not a word that in the dictionary of conscious parenting. So discipline, it's very tricky because some people think of it as punishment. Some people think of it as, so no punishment. We're going to go through that. Hopefully you have time. So no punishment is one of the things that we like. So no. All right. So discipline is not a good term in conscious parenting because of the first sentence. We are here to raise ourselves. So why are we disciplining them? We have to discipline ourselves, even if we are disciplining, and which we don't have to. I have so much things to cover. I don't know if you have time.
You're coming back.
We're driving you crazy.
No. I love it. I love it. So,
what about looking at it like this, right? In discipline, you're making it a battle of wills. You're disciplining them for not doing what you willed them to do. And in that case, you may not have been in a place where you should have been that way.
Yeah, exactly. How do we know? We don't know. Like, we don't know what's right. Really, we don't know. We have to trust them. Sometimes when they insist on something, I'm like, maybe they know something I don't know. Maybe they see something I don't know. So discipline is when we are so full of ourselves that we're so sure that, hey, this is it. So let me just give you an example. For example, Randy, can you just clarify in what situation you need discipline?
Do you want to come on, Randy?
You can just type in on the comment, I guess.
Well, many years ago when my kids were little, we had this course called Discipline Kids Are Worth It by Barbara Colarusso. And it's not discipline as in, spanking or anything like that. It's like, you tell them that, this has to be done by a certain time. And if it's not done by a certain time, say like it has to be done by the end of the day. When is the end of the day? The end of the day is midnight. So if it doesn't get done, of course, this is obviously for older kids, then you wake them up and say, what I asked you to do hasn't been done yet. You wake them up at midnight.
Okay, I understand
that was her views on discipline. It's not punishment type of discipline. It's just, getting
rules.
Yeah, getting it in their minds that, things that have to be done, that are asked to be done.
I understand. So, yeah. Okay, so this discipline, so it's completely different. That's when you have rules, when some things need to be done, when we have to take care of our responsibilities, we have to have empathy. So oh my goodness, I have everything here and we talk about that. So one of the best ways to do this, so conscious parenting, let me just jump into this, is comprised of two things: connection, containment. So containment is where that discipline of yours comes in. So we contain. We cannot be hippies. Like, we don't go for that, right? I'm so sorry. Maybe because I don't know what they are, but I've just, whatever. Like, you can do whatever. I'm sorry, what's the word for that? Not hippies. I'm sorry, I'm not American. I don't want to offend anyone.
No worries.
I don't want to offend anyone if it's hippie.
But it's passive parenting, really,
yeah,
right?
Permissive.
I'm a little guilty of that.
Okay, no, we don't want permissive. I totally understand what you're saying now. So it comes with containment. So we have rules, but we have few rules. So we don't want to have more than 5. I'm guilty of having like around 20, but it's important for me. So I put them, what are family rules? Why they're so important? So to have a limited amount of rules, okay? And why is it so important to make it, announce this is it? So we have family meetings, which I wanted to talk about. One of the best ways that is not only in conscious parenting, many good parentings, family meetings every week. It's very, very worthwhile because there's like a haven. And the way it works is we come and we talk about one frustration, we come up with a solution together and all those things, and we can talk about it later. But family meeting is where we come up with those fixed rules. And we did that with my kids, and they said, we don't hit, okay? They said that. So we put those things down, and we came up with, I came up with around 20. I don't have it with me right now, but I can show it. I kind of laminated it. So I had it all around the room and the house by the time we wanted to get used to it. Not anymore, but because I already know. So, for example, homework needs to be done the first half an hour. For example, if it's important in a household. So it depends on the household. So it is important to do whatever that your child needed to do until he had to sleep. So you put that. That's what is important for you. So those rules that everyone knows, and that if they're not done, then there is a natural consequence. We don't punish. For example, I tell my kids, I'm telling them, I'm not responsible for your homework, okay? If you don't read your 20 minutes, I'm not going to sign the paper. That's it. And she, by herself, she knows that she doesn't want to probably get embarrassed or whatever is going on in school, which I really don't want to care, because if I want to care, I go crazy. So it's off of me. I say, okay, I'm not going to sign. That's the natural consequence. You didn't read your 20 minutes. I don't want to lie. If I sign, it means it means I'm lying. You didn't read. So that's the natural consequence. And they will learn from inside, internally, right? What's the right thing to do, instead of us pushing them and giving them consequences, and they're not going to learn anything. They're not going to learn anything. Go ahead.
It's a good idea. I can really see it, because I think back on my own childhood, right, where my parents, they lived their entire lives pretty not conscious. But
everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. But the rule thing with my parents, if you had it more open, where it sounded like with Randy's example, for me at least, right, not having set rules, then they can pull anything like that. And it's, why do I have to do it? Well, because, and they were very big on because I said so. And some because I said so's, or at all because I said so's, are simply a battle of will and something you want to prove that you're still stronger than me, in charge of me, the boss of me. I was owned till 40.
That is true for everyone.
Possession.
Yeah, that is true. See, Eckhart Tolle says in the past century, 100 million people were killed in the wars. Why? We come from these families. There's something wrong with the family. It just, everything is awesome and rosy, and then 100 million people are dead in the wars. No, it comes from family. We are living in unconscious worlds, and it's not their fault. They didn't know any better. So right now, the collective consciousness is increasing, and we are lucky that you're living in this era. So, and hopefully it's going to get better. And hopefully we are, trying to make it better. We are part of the movement. So I want to tell you something. The second gesture Susan Stiffelman does, Randy, for you especially here. So he chooses the word. Even if you go to her website, she has this picture of hers. So imagine imagine my left hand is the child, okay, and this is the parent, okay. So this position is a captain of the ship position. So I'm in charge, okay? What does that mean? I'm in charge, okay? It means, okay, it's time to do homework. What did Randy say he wanted to do, his child to do? I
don't think he said. He just said he didn't do whatever it was he told him to do. And so if he didn't do it at by midnight, you told him you didn't do it.
Okay, so imagine it's doing homework, for example. So it's time to do your homework, okay? And no, I want to play. But you need to do it, because if you don't do it, so this is the lawyer position. We are arguing, okay? But why should I do it? If you don't do it, you're going to end up having a bad grade, blah, blah, blah. No. And then, okay, that's it, young lady. You're not going to have your iPad tomorrow. So this is the dictator mode. What does a dictator do? He puts you in jail. He has no real authority. Really, they don't have any power. They just punish you. So this is a dictator mode. And what is the difference between here and here? Here, I am reactive. I'm mad. I'm angry that he's not complying. And I'm really frustrated that she's not doing her work. So all kinds of emotion is here. Here, there is no emotion. Like if a police gives you a ticket, that's like, why did you do? No, just gives you a ticket, right? So there is no emotion here, right? But you're in charge, okay? This is arguing, and this is dictator. So we want to be here. So the trick is not to get reactive. So we enforce our rules. We place them. I don't want to enforce because that's too harsh word. So we place our rules without getting reactive. And that is the key. Because if we get reactive, their brain gets shut down. They're going to push back. They're not going to learn anything. They're not going to do it. We're going to have a fight. But if you're not, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I understand. So we empathize. I understand you're very, like in the morning, we don't know, like one of our big triggers here is they don't want to get up in the morning, especially after the weekend, right? So I keep saying, as soon as I say, I know your bed is so cozy, it's so hard. I totally understand. I was like that too. I didn't want to get up and meditate at 5:30 in the morning and get the lunch bags ready and all this. And so I keep going on and talk about me. It was so hard. I totally understand. It's so hard to get out of your cozy bed and get out. It's so cold outside. You're right. But we have to do it, It's just, let's do it with good attitude. So when you empathize, there is no pushing and pulling. So they know you understand. Their emotion is met. We have helped them, coached them to feel their emotions. We have actually felt their emotions, which is even more awesome. So, and then we do it together. That's the trick, especially with little kids. If you order them to do it alone, that's one of the things they resist. They don't want to do it alone. And they even say it to me. I want you to do it with me. And fine, I have to do it. I'm the mother. I have to do some stuff, right? It doesn't mean I put on their clothes. No, I gave up on that. I was so embarrassed in one of these workshops that the 4-year-olds were putting on their clothes and my 6-year-old, 7-year-old didn't, because I had to get them out of the door. I felt embarrassed. And I started doing that. That was really embarrassing for 7-year-olds for me to put the clothes on them. So I gave up on that around 2 years ago. So I just sit beside them. Or for example, maybe I just do the socks because it's harder. You know what I mean? So, but I do it with them. I don't tell them, oh, do it now. Because if you do that, then they're going to do that. Right? So we do it together. We do it together. Everything is together. Everything finds solution together. So the summary of this is to feel emotions, help them feel their emotions, empathize. So first thing is emotion. And the second is to do some techniques, which I hope I have time to tell you what they are. And then third one, we come up with a solution together. And that's called the WinWin. And one of the things that I took from that awesome workshop me and Elsie took 2 months ago in conscious parenting with Dr. Shefali herself was this win-win. She specifically said, have few rules and then come up with win-win. So this was, I think, gold for me because it's like a really magical term, win-win. And then we come up with solution. Okay, this is my win. I allowed you to do this. Now, this is your win. I allowed you to do this, although I didn't want to. Now, this is my win. Let's come up with it. And they learn empathy. They learn problem solving. This is it. Feeling emotion, both of us, because I'm parenting myself too. I have so much emotion. Let me tell you something funny. Yesterday, it was so funny because it happened before today. I'm like, oh, I'm not entitled to do this interview because it's a journey. We are doing it. So yesterday I wanted to take them to Chuck E. Cheese, and my daughter is an extremely picky eater and her iron level is low. If it wasn't, I wouldn't care. But, and she's just against food for some reason. I know for my reason, because I pushed her all the time. So, and then my son did something that, anyways, kind of a nagging program. We can talk about programs. And then I lost it. And I said, I'm not taking you to Chuck E. Cheese. And this is punishment. I shouldn't have done it. I should have at least told them before, okay, this is the condition. Even if you want to give consequences, it should be, I actually have it here. This is not conscious parenting, but in case if you want to do consequences, first of all, it needs to be respectful. Second, it needs to be related. Third, it needs to be reasonable in time. So you can't say you can't have it for, 1 month. That's too long. And then it should be revealed in advance. So if you do the consequence right there, that's punishment. But if you do it in advance, for example, you say, okay, when these things are not done, or when they're done, we do this. Otherwise, it's going to happen. So they know. So it's from within. They know that if they don't do this, then they're not going to have that privilege. Okay. And the third one should be repeated. Okay. So we have to ask them. I say, okay, what was the consequence? What is not the consequence? What did we say? What is our condition? So they have to repeat back so they understand. All right. So they understand. So 5 R's: respectful, related, reasonable, revealed in advance, and repeated back to you. Okay? But this needs to be like really, really like 5% of the time. All right? 5% of the time. So when we are in the process of becoming conscious parent, because as soon as we are conscious parent, I don't see any reasons really to do that unless I become unconscious. So when I'm unconscious, then I give, I have to kind of go back to that. So I wanted to tell you right now something I forgot. Any questions?
No worries, you're good.
I'm good? Okay. All right, so we talked about connection and containment and win-win situations, right? That's very, very important. So I wanna talk about a little bit conscious parenting right now. Really, why do we become triggered? Okay, so I want to give you an example. All right, can you give me an example when you become unconscious, Elsie?
Yes, when I tell my child to do something, I tell him, my husband's trying to get me to ask questions rather than tell, put it in question form, but I'll catch myself saying, you need to do this. And he's not listening.
Okay, so first,
he's just
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting, but we do not start our sentence with you need to. We do not do that because they don't need to do that. They need to play. The inner thing is something else. We need them to do that. So we do not start our sentence with you need to, because they don't need to really. All right?
Yeah, because it means make my life easier so I can get back to what I'm doing.
So that's how we become conscious. They don't need to do that. We need them to do that, right? So we do not start our sentence with that, right? So what did you wanted him to do? To
get up, come eat his breakfast.
Okay, the same problem
so
with the same thing is going on.
Why can't you just say,
the thing is
to make my life easier, could you please come have your breakfast?
Exactly. That's kind of become conscious about your being unconscious, because we want them to do stuff to make us feel better. And they're not here to make us feel better. They're here to live. Right?
Exactly.
Right. And sometimes I'll catch myself and I'll say, you're gonna make me late. Like, I've caught myself. Isn't that horrible? Like, that is horrible. You're gonna make me late. Now I'm gonna, and I forget I'm the one in control of my destiny. I'm the one in control of my of my journey. And I will talk to him. I'll at least after the fact, but I don't want any more after the facts. I want to really get
smaller after the facts, less. Work on just less.
Right, work my way. Yeah.
Your solution is a family meeting. So I cannot stress family meeting. Like, I went to this it was called positive parenting or something like that. So every other sentence she said FM, which is family meeting. It is so important, and I agree with her. Every week, Sunday afternoon, and then have a snack after, do something fun so they like it. Have a talking stick. So whoever has this can talk, okay? So they don't interrupt, okay? I have a whole slide talking about it. So you come up with your frustration. You say, guys, I know it's so, you empathize. I know it's so, even you can do this while like they're in bed. You say, as I said, I totally understand. It's so cozy and comfy to be in your bed under the blanket, and it's so hard to get out. And it's so, let me tell you, everyone in the world has this feeling. It's not only you. So I totally understand. Okay. But we have to go. If you don't go, mommy's going to be late, and you're going to be late, and your teacher, blah, blah, blah. And then you can talk whatever it is. Okay. But, the trick is not to get triggered. So as soon as you get triggered, he doesn't want to do it. All right. So you take a deep breath or 3, and then you say, first of all, this is what I say. Okay, what happens if I'm late? Nothing, right? Nothing happens, or you can repair it. So that's actually good that we talked about this, because this was mentioned in to the workshop. So you kind of play with your background thoughts. Okay, so when we get triggered, first of all, we think something. Okay, you're late, you're gonna be late, and then you believe if you're late, blah blah blah. Then you have a fear, and then you have something comes up. For example, in me, my past pain is gonna be, my dad was a perfectionist, and I'm a perfectionist. So that's the underlying thing. That's the past thing. If you want to dig deeper, and then you get triggered. So really, your thought is triggering you. It's not him. All right, because you're thinking, and your thinking is triggering you. All right, so the best way is just, first of all, if you can at that moment, if your husband can intervene, that would be so much better. So we have an agreement with my husband. So whenever I become unconscious, please come in, but come in consciously. Don't come in unconsciously, because if you're unconscious, I can do it better. I can yell louder. So you have go ahead.
Oh, when you're done, I have a question.
Sure. So you take deep breaths and you become conscious of the underlying thought that you have and the fear and all those things, and you think, oh, what happens? And you take a deep breath, and then you come and empathize without getting triggered. And it's not, let me tell you this, if you pretend you're not triggered, it's not going to work. You really should not get triggered, because when you are triggered and you pretend, they still get the vibration. And they're so smart on picking up those vibrations. So you have no chance pretending. Do not pretend. Just really deep here. This is how you get raised. You raise yourself. So you take deep breaths and you think of your thoughts. All right. What thought? This is the thought that is bothering me. This boy, just put yourself in his position. He's 4 or 5. He wants to be in his bed. He wants to be with you. He doesn't want to do it. How is he? How old is he? He's 6?
My boy is 9, and my little girl is
9.
Is
okay,
5, yeah.
Even 9 doesn't matter. Like, he has to go back to school. It's cold, and probably some kids are not. I don't know. He has some problems with kids, and they always do. Oh, that child didn't play with me. Blah blah blah. So they have their own, their mental thinking going on. We are not in their head. And after 2 days of the weekend, so you just put yourself in there and you don't get triggered. But the fact of the matter is that he has to get up, right? So you have talked before in the family meeting. You even ask him. So one of the things in family meeting, when you bring it up, the frustration, you don't come up with a solution. Everyone else does. Maybe your daughter comes up with a solution. He comes up with a solution. Mommy, maybe it's better if you stay with me for 5 minutes. Actually, let me tell you this. If we spend 3 minutes with our kids before they get up in the morning, that will, a little bit of MBST, if you can have 10-minute MBST, it's going to discharge them from those emotions and not wanting. So just give yourself some time, get up earlier, go to them. And like in the morning, it was a challenge for me. Gil actually mentioned this. So I came up with coming to the room with a silly being. For example, one day I'm a dog mommy dog or whatever. So I go, woof, 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 get up or something. So that will change their feelings, their mindset. You know what I mean? And it's so important. It was so good. And one day I would go back, let's get up, something like that. And then you think.
And they're coming out of dream state into.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So you come up with these solutions that they can come up. I just gave you a solution. He can come up with a solution. You never know what solution, because when you ask them, they will think, oh, that's right. Maybe this will work. Maybe if you come to my bed for 5 minutes and snuggle with me, for example, I'll get up better. So they should come up with a solution. And if they come up with a solution, that works better. If they don't, then you come up with a solution. So that's it. It's just feeling emotions coming with solutions. And that's it. And the reason that we get triggered is because we don't feel. Yesterday, because of that, and I gave them the consequence. My daughter, she wrote, I can bring the paper, and she said, Mommy, feel your emotions. So she knew that I was not feeling my emotion. I was getting triggered. So that's it. So all our negative behavior is the result of our past unhealed emotions. You are somewhere here, you're unhealed. Attend to yourself. Feel your emotions. They melt away. And then you go in without getting triggered. and you say, I know, you empathize, you put yourself in their shoes, and then you come up with a win-win.
Okay. Angela had something first?
Oh, I was just going to say that somehow, oddly, I did that after I got my divorce with my cat. I decided I own this creature, and basically all you do with your pets is you feed them and clean up after them and wait for them to die and spend no time with them. So I spent 10 minutes every morning doing what the cat wanted to do, which required a lot of observation because it's a cat. He can't say, I want to do this. But so if I could do 10 with my cat, you could do 10 with your kid.
Of course, and that is so true with everyone, with our spouses, with everyone. Like we have to attend, we have to be present, and we have to be present with ourselves. And that's why meditation is so important, to have at least 10 minutes for ourselves. And I've been meditating for more than 20 years. I've done TM. Go ahead.
There's a question from Parent Dome. When is it parenting compared to being a friend filling a personal emotional void? I think he's coming in. Oh no, Randy's showing it bigger so you can read it. When is it parenting compared to being a friend filling a personal emotional void? Yeah, I've known that relationship.
Okay.
Not mine.
So first of all, no, we are not their friends. We are not their friends unless they're, I don't know, big. But emotional void has nothing to do with anyone. Emotional void has everything to do with us. So we feel our emotions here. As I was saying, by having 10-minute meditation every day, we get connected here. So I was just telling someone from a rebound, I said, do not go for a rebound. Until you're complete, you're going to repeat your patterns of finding a partner. So the same kind of partner is going to show up. So you feel complete here. So emotional void is our responsibility. We do not project it onto anyone, our spouses, our parents, our kids, nothing. So first we have to complete. That's why this conscious parenting is us. There is no relationship. It's only us. If we are filled, then the relationship goes so smoothly. All right.
He's commented back. He says a personal emotional void being filled by a child is a very dangerous relationship when you are friends and not a parent.
Yeah, exactly. So we do not think that they're friends or they're gonna feel up. They have, you know what? They were here to raise us. This is such an important mantra to remember in conscious parenting. They are here to raise us. We needed them. We needed them to raise ourselves, all right? So if we change this paradigm of we have to teach them what to do, no. We have no right and we have no knowledge to do that. We have to first raise ourselves. When we raise ourselves, they get raised the way they are. They are supposed to be raised. We come to this world as a whole. We are pure light. And then we get polluted. We get infected by all these internal and external and everything programs, society, parents, blah, blah, blah. But we are complete. We just need to kind of protect this completeness in them, right? So they are complete. Go ahead.
Maybe we need to flip the whole way we look at it. Maybe we don't have children. Yes, we do have to physically take care of them until they can physically do things themselves. But beyond that, maybe they're born at a time in our lives because we need to relearn, not because we. And if you look at it, it's a perfect cycle that way. Then continuing to try to awaken by bringing in new people who were actually awakened before they got here.
Exactly. It's not actually relearn. It's kind of de-learn what we learned from, because we are already complete. We already know everything, right?
Cut it away.
Yeah. So it's kind of reprogram. And let me tell you this. Let me rephrase this. So I don't know where I've heard this, but I kind of believe it. It's just a leap of faith, but I believe it. That our children choose us. I think it's Wayne Dyer who said that. Our children, the spirit of the children choose us to come to this world. So it's kind of a mutual thing to me to help us grow. And these are the experiences that they also need to grow. So it's kind of a mutual thing. So if we think of it this way, in a spiritual way, it's not like, oh, what tool I'm going to use from my tool belt. Really, that becomes redundant. So it all comes back to us, our emotions, feeling our emotions. And then we have those rules that we talked about, family rules, like doing homework, doing responsibilities or whatever. And then it needs to be done. Let's come up with a solution. Okay, do you want me to? This is what I tell them. If they put their their dishes. So let me tell you this. 2 years ago, I went to this American family, and she was the same age as my daughter, and she put the dish in the sink without her mom, or her mom said, oh, you forgot your dish or something like that. And she did. I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a bad, permissive mom. My kids do not do that. So, and it is so important to have these responsibilities. So right now, if they don't do it, I'll ask them, okay, should I do it? Should I do it? So it's not fair to them. They would think, why should I eat and my mom take care of my stuff? No, when I eat, I put my dish in the sink. So it becomes internal, right? So I don't force them. Oh, no. So we say, okay, it needs to be done. Whose responsibility do you think it is? So I made the food for you. Go ahead.
Or you could just say, oops, someone forgot to put their dish away.
Yeah, that's a shortcut. That's a shortcut. But I'm talking about the behind the scene in our head, right? The way we teach them. Why do they need to do that? Because I think it's so important to not to have I forgot the word, but have a backing of any rule that we have. Why do we have this rule?
The why. The why.
Exactly, because we want to have empathy. So that's having empathy, because she cares about me. I'm not the servant. I'm not Cinderella to do all the chores, right? So that's having, cultivating empathy. So there's a thing behind it. Go ahead.
I have problems with the dish issue. Now, I've got to admit, I am pretty much a hippie, and I am pretty much a slob. So maybe if I'd been held to that standard, I wouldn't be. But at the same time, slobs and hippies can live in the world too. So I would go for the dish that if you don't put the dish in the sink and get a certain amount of the food off it, it's going to be really gross and a problem to clean later.
Exactly.
So knowing that and having to do it at least once, it's like, so now do you want to put the dish where it needs to be?
Exactly. So your mindset, your program is different from mine. I come from a perfectionist family, right? I come from perfectionist family. So the reason I give them is according to my program, right? And yours could be according to
your
yours.
It's more hang loose Hawaii.
Yeah. But there's always a reason, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So I want to tell you something else. So I know we don't have time. How much? 1 minute, or can we talk a little bit more, or no?
We can go over.
Okay. So so what is so important is when we have these kind of get up, their brain is shut down. Okay, their brain is completely shut down. The prefrontal cortex, which is the smart brain, is shut down, and their amygdala, which is kind of an alarm brain, gets turned on. Okay, so at that time they're no reasoning, they don't understand, they just want to boo. So we have to be that as conscious parents, we are aware of that. Okay, and let me tell you this: until mid-20s, the brains are not completely developed. Mid-20s, can you believe that?
Yes.
So if you're conscious of that, hey, this person, I tell my husband, I try to bring him on the same page, but the amount of reading and stuff I'm doing, sometimes I have to tell him, we are expecting them to be 30, 40-year-olds. They can't, their brain doesn't understand. It's just, they just want to play. They don't care about it if they don't they don't even understand the concept of consequence. That's why punishment does not work, because they live in the present. They don't think, oh, yesterday I got punished for this, so I'm not going to do it today. They don't even remember. So that's why punishments and consequences are not working. They don't work because their brain does not even whatever. I got beaten up or went to timeout or whatever, and then tomorrow you would think, oh, I went to the timeout yesterday, so I'm not going to do this today. They can't reason like that. So their brain is not developed that way. That's why consequences and punishment that way don't work. Go.
I once babysat one time. I didn't babysit much, and I was actually an adult at this place, right? But there was a parent, father, right? Very, very, very passive man, and he did one of those where he told his child, "I need you to do something." I think he phrased it pretty well, right? The kid was like 2 or 3. I learned a big lesson that night myself, and what not to say to a 3-year-old, and that they don't quite understand things even after they've done them. You did that already. You ate. I am going to feed you. You've eaten. Anyway, he said he wanted his child to do something, and he phrased it nicely, and the kid spit in his face. I swear, right in front of me. I'm like, oh, I want to go home. And I think he gave him a timeout then. But I mean, so what about in the face of a spit in the face or an absolute lack of any sort of respect?
Okay, so again,
and Ryan has another question.
Okay, again, Angela, all these behaviors, the negative behaviors, they're just symptoms. Something is not filled up. Autonomy, connection, and competence, and also food, sleep, blah, blah, blah. So there's a reason behind it. What's the point of punishing this person who's already suffering, who's already having empty tanks,
who already has no respect for you?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's us again. When we punish, we are saying, oh, he did that to me, he's going to get punished. So we are that dictator. So it has nothing to do with the kid. So that's the difference between conscious parenting and the rest of the world traditional parenting. Because we think we are in a higher position, and then this has to, comply, blah, blah, blah. No, they're here to raise us. So that changes the paradigm. So if he's spitting, that's the time he actually needs more love. It doesn't mean, oh, thank you for spitting on me. It doesn't mean that. But it means you control your emotion. You feel your anger if you want. You say, I'm so angry right now. And I promise you, I'm going to talk about emotional intelligence right now, which is the most important portion of the conscious parenting. When you feel your emotion, I'm so angry right now. Oh my God. And you also feel guilty. Oh, such a stupid parent I am that my child is doing that. So you feel your emotion, all sorts of emotions that you have. And then you know that this child is suffering. How do you deal with that? With a suffered child? Like, what happens if a child is burning in fire? What do? You go save him. It's the same situation. He's even suffering more than others. So he's spitting. First of all, he might not know spitting is that bad. It's that bad for us because, it's all dependent, like it's relevant. For example, I'm sorry, maybe I shouldn't bring this up. For example, burping, we talked about this. Burping is okay for some families. It's not okay in our family, okay? So they learn it and they see it outside and they do it, but it's so hard for me. For her, she's seeing her friend doing it. She doesn't think it's that bad, but for me, it's so, horrible, right? Because of culture. So again, spitting for him does not mean that's all such a bad thing, right? But for the parent, it is. So you know that the child is suffering. You do all your steps. You do empathize. You find win-win situations. Maybe the thing is, is not. You can even hold, like, one of the things that some of these positive parentings do, they leave the child alone. Never, ever. That's not conscious parenting. You don't leave the child alone. You, even like if it's a child wants us to leave, you say, okay, I'm here for you. I know you're suffering. I'm very upset too. And you can even say, if the child is not too little, of course, if he's 2, he won't understand. But if it's like 4 or 5, I feel really, really, really disrespected. I feel so much pain in me. I'm going to give you a formula, one of those tool belt things in your tool belt. But so you just tell your emotion and say, I know something is going on. Let's find a solution. And then even finding a solution at that time is not proper because, again, the brain is shut down. So you just support, say, I'm here for you. Whenever you want to talk, let's find a solution together. So it's just conscious parenting is to shift this, that the child is suffering right now. Let me help him. Not just, oh, he spit on me, blah, blah, blah. That is the difference, right? That is the difference. So we are going together. We are evolving together. It's not, I'm going to change you to do as I say and to be the pianist I never was, for example. Okay? So Anyways, does that answer your question?
And there was another
yes,
question.
we have Parent Dome down here, and I've offered if you're okay with it. He's got a lot going on that he's asking, and it's all right in your ballpark. So I was saying if he wanted to come on in that seat. Want to give it a try?
Oh,
Cool. Thanks, Angie.
sorry. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
No worries. Brian.
Yeah, you can hear me though.
Yep. It says can twist. Brian Miller can twist.
Yeah, I can twist. I'll get rid of that in just a second. Hopefully.
I'll just twist until then. Elsie's gone.
There we go.
Okay.
So I really appreciated your comments, Arayeh. Very, very interesting thinking about conscious parenting. My business is Parent Dome, and I speak as an educator about how to keep kids safe in a digitally immersed life. And my comments about there's a huge transition in the parental relationship that has been relegated to a friendship, that there's more of friendships between children than there is this parenting relationship. And I said, why do parents put technology in the hands of children without their brains fully formed to understand the consequences of what they get involved in on the internet? Mm-hmm. So that when a parent is a friend, they're kind of following the peer pressure and putting technology into kids' hands without really understanding the full magnitude of the power that they put in. And they've created this illusion of their children's safety based upon zero evidence. So I'm dealing with the fallout of children in tremendous trauma, and I can't get the attention of parents because they want to maintain this friendship with their child, and they continue to put their children at grave risk. So okay. I was wondering from your standpoint.
Sure. Thank you for asking that. What I'm going to tell you is kind of shocking, but really only 1 hour of screening every week. That's the amount. So that's first thing. The second thing I want to bring up is that peer pressure of other parents. That's what not a conscious parent does. Conscious parent has only her heart, his heart. We do not think about other parents. Oh, that parent, even like activities. Like I do not put my kids in any activities for some reasons. And sometimes I feel guilty. Oh, that parent has blah, blah, blah. No, we just find what's right for our children, for us at that specific moment. If you think about society, this is what a conscious parenting does. Finding the internal GPS in here instead of looking around and see what's going on in the society.
What percentage of the population would you identify as being conscious parents?
0.000001. But we are evolving. So it's just the beginning. It's a big. I don't know if you were here at the beginning of this webinar, but it's a collective consciousness that it's a wave coming through right now. We are at the beginning of it, and I'm hopeful that it's going to spread. So I see a lot of. I'm in the market of conscious parenting right now. So it's kind of evolving right now. But so I myself was the one, I'm like, whatever. All my friends have iPads for their kids. Like, who cares? They have it. Let them have it. I don't care. But for some reason, I had to give it to them. I'll tell you why. But that was not the reason. But right now, for example, when I see my son likes, and he says, oh, I don't know why, Mommy, I like fighting so much. And I'm like, are you kidding me? My son likes fighting. And then I figured out that male actually, by nature, loves fighting and killing. And that's in us, in our nature. And that's scientific. And when I found my peace, I said, okay, fine, you can. But right now, I am the authority. I'm not, in that sense that you're saying, I'm not their friend. I even tell them, I say, you are my child. I'm not a dictator. I cannot tell you what's right, what's wrong. I can guide you. I will tell you, I guide you what is, for example, what is healthy for your food. Organic is good for your food. Sugar is bad. I guide you, okay? The amount of time that you can, the time that you can decide, I support and everything. But sometimes because you're my child and I'm responsible for you, I cannot allow you to destroy your brain. And I tell them how. I say, for example, I show them my research. I say, look at this. When you're in a virtual world, in the virtual world,
you have a child that is engaging in media, right? So regardless of the age, if you put this technology in their hand, you can say, child, I'm going to guide you and I don't want you to watch porn, right? But that doesn't mean somebody else wants to show your child porn. So parents are only aware of, my child's good because I guide them, and I'm not going to let them.
Exactly. No. Full responsibility. I understand what you're saying. So I met this parent, she says it this way to her child: it's my business to be in your business. I kind of agree with that. Because their brain is not developed enough decide, to decide what's right for them. If it's up to them, they're gonna eat Smarties instead of food. So although I tell them, okay, I have to make some choices if you can't make good choices. No. Too much iPad is bad for you. It damages your brain. Mommy, why? Why? Because you're always on the iPad. You think that's the real world. When you come out, you think everything is so boring. Or when you get cranky, I say, see, you're cranky. It's because of that. You've been on that virtual world. You think that's the real thing. You think you're not affected, but your brain thinks that's the real world because you're too much on it. So we explain. So it's not just being a dictator, but at the same time you explain, but at the same time you reinforce. And I agree with being in the business of the child's business, because it's our business. So we cannot just as I said, it's not conscious parent is not a permissive parent at all. So connection, containment. So this is the part that deals with the containment.
So
this is the containment.
Go to Supertext's comment. He said, we as parents, for the most part, went by, if it's not life-threatening or morally dangerous, let them experience it. So what is not life-threatening? What is not life-threatening? Is cyberbullying not life-threatening?
Yes, it is. I think
I'm looking at Supertext comments because when people put this in their children's hands with no oversight to see what they're experiencing, they're creating an illusion as to what their children are doing.
Yeah, no, I don't agree with that. I think it's our business to be in their business all the time.
Elsie.
Yes.
Why don't I bow out and we let Randy in, and this will just be a great little free-for-all. Have a great day. See you later.
See ya.
I love you all.
So I don't think we can. As I said, conscious parent is not a permissive parent, and but it is so important also to parent out, to raise ourselves first, and not to be so. And that is when the conscious parents is like kind of a new paradigm right now, to question our beliefs as well, right? So to question our beliefs. But if the research shows, or if you're sure, there is a possibility that when I see, for example, when my child, his YouTube videos, like 10 million hits for the kids who like home videos, I'm like, what is this world coming to? And she loves looking at them. And when she looks at them, the way she talks is different. So I tell her, you know what? Your tone is very disrespectful because of this video. That's why I'm not allowing you that. So I'm it's a win-win, as I said. So we explore it together because we don't know too. As you said, there's not enough research about this, right? It's a completely new phenomenon. So we are discovering together, and we're, kind of weighing what's going on. You know what I mean? But we have to be supervising. We are the parent, we are not the friend.
So what has happened, in my opinion, is that moral relativism is the rule of the day. That the ability to know right from wrong in a black and white world doesn't exist. That we have created situational morality. And when you introduce social media, which has no ethical requirement nor moral requirement, you're immersed in a world where you have no basis to understand what is ethically right or wrong, nor morally right or wrong.
I don't agree with that.
You don't agree with that?
I don't agree either.
I don't agree with situational morality. No, not at all.
No, I'm not saying you agree with it. I'm saying that's what society has gotten to. That moral relativism is the rule of the day. I don't agree with that, but that's what society is forming at this point.
Oh yeah. Right. I just told you, if you were here at the beginning, 100 million people were killed in the war in the past century. So something is definitely wrong. So we are in the world conscious. So this is the new trend of being conscious is like becoming aware of this consciousness and these oneness. And so we are along that path. It's completely new paradigm. And
that horse has been out of the barn for a long time, though. That horse has been out for a long time. That our morality is going in an opposite direction. It's not going in a positive direction.
It depends on who you are. I mean, some people's moralities don't change.
I'm saying from a societal standpoint. I'm not saying
the society is changing, and we as parents have to determine what is safe or not safe for our children. That's why they have parental controls on electronic devices, so you can limit, the areas that your children go into and see.
Yes.
And you have to make them aware of the dangers out there.
I would agree. I would say majority of parents are not involved in that because they want their children to experience the internet. So the parental controls are not sufficient to prevent their children from seeing things that their parents ultimately would not want them to see.
Correct.
That's the
problem. I agree. There are many bad parents out there.
I think the main reason parents allow their children to be to be screening all the time is because they want their own life. So that's being unconscious. Like when I want to have my own life, I just say, go ahead. Like one of my friends says, my son comes out of the room 1 inch taller. Like, do you think that's really good? Like, because she wants to have her own life and whatever, and the son is in the room always. So that's the reason, I think, because we want to have our own lives and we just go whatever. And then we don't monitor, we don't put much effort. Conscious parent is not that kind of parent. Conscious parent, we are responsible for bringing these creatures to this world. In some level, we were involved, and then we are responsible to make them healthy adults and the people who will actually contribute to the betterment of the world. So this is the shift in mentality that we're talking about right now here. I want to, for sure, mention a couple of mindfulness techniques for children. Do I have time?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be great.
So when kids are negative at that time and like go on all these dilemmas and all those things. So as we said, the amygdala gets fired up. It's like fire. That's how you explain to your children. So amygdala. So we're involving them in parenting. So we show it on a picture, for example. This is amygdala. This gets fired up. There's fire here. So we need to blow out this fire. We need to put it out. Okay. How do we do that? So by breathing, right? So breathing is the key. And we do that in the 10-minute meditation, as I said, for adults. And I'm kind of integrating with my kids 1 minute because they don't want to do it more. Every day we do mindfulness technique together and we breathe and all those things. And we go 4, we go in, 7, we hold, and 8 out. So we do that 2-3 times. But for kids, I have a couple of awesome techniques directly from a mindful instructor for kids. So it's called finger breathing. So they do this and they go in, and they love this one.
I love this one.
All right. So you show them. So the amygdala is fired up, and we're breathing. We're putting it out by breathing. So this is called finger breathing. We have sphere breathing, and they put it under the belly. You can't see my belly, but under the belly. So the way we breathe in and breathe out is wrong. Even our breathing is wrong. Our parenting. So when we breathe in, we usually, instead of inflating the balloon, we deflate it. So when breathing, we have to do it on our belly. When you tell them, you imagine the balloon is getting inflated. The stomach is big, and then now it's deflated. So we do that like this. So this is called sphere breathing. And it's good for us too, because deep breathing, you inflate your belly, and then you deflate it. Okay? So you do that.
That's mindfulness that keeps them connected.
Exactly. So the amygdala is put out, and then you get connected. So consciousness, how do we connect to consciousness, except for probably doing something? But breathing, that's how we get connected to our inner being, to our internal GPS, to connectedness, to connect consciousness, whatever. Breathing is one of the portals we get connected to consciousness, and that's how we teach them. And by doing that, you kind of teaching them to find themselves even in the peer pressure, I don't know, whatever, do this drug and all this thing. They go inside. They know that here. So I keep telling them every day, here, you find your happiness here. It's not in the stuff. It's not in here. It's not in there. It's in here. So breathing is a portal to there. All right. So finger breathing, sphere breathing, and and then I wanted to talk a lot more, but hugging is so important, the physical touch. So what we do when we see each other, we do 20-second hugs. So you can do 3 breath hugs. So you hug and you breathe deeply for 3 times together. So you're doing the breathing, you're doing the hugging, you're doing the physical touch. So we say time for 20-second hug. Actually, we do that in my house. So when they come from school, 20-second hug, we do that. Because the older they get, the less we hug them, the less we kiss them. And then, but we need it. And even with our partners, we have to do that. It's like an assignment. Unfortunately, all these good things, mindfulness is not a natural state. It is not a natural state of mind. We have to practice. We have to build the neural pathways. And the way we do that is by meditation. And meditation, we sit, the thought comes, you put it aside effortlessly, you go back to your breathing. And by doing that, you make the neural pathway. And when it happens, like I get upset, I got upset, you observe it, you put it aside, you go back to your breathing. So you can actually use this neural pathway in your brain to actually live your life that way, right? And you're teaching that to your kid. How awesome is that? And then probably in one generation, that's what Dalai Lama said. Like if every 8-year-old does meditation, we can eliminate violence in one generation. And that's exactly true. So 3 things. And then one of the mindfulness games that we do every day, we try to do it every day. It's called Rose, Bud, Thorn. So this is the way that, what happened in school? Nothing. So that's the solution to that. So we have Rose, which is one good thing, enjoyable thing that happened today, but is an act of kindness you did or someone did to you. And then Thorn, a mistake that we learned from. So mistakes are not things that we are ashamed of. And that's what I tell my kids. Human beings, we make mistakes. It's important to repair and then to learn from it. So 2 things, repair and learn from it. So Rose, Bud, Thorn. And they always want me to start. So I start with my day, and then they go ahead, a little bit about their day that way. And then you're connected, and then you're teaching empathy, you're teaching emotional intelligence, you're teaching all sorts of things that way. All right, so and one other thing I wanted to mention is so important is these programs that we talked about, the preconditions and all these 0 to 6 years old, the hypnotic brain and all those things. So there is this, sorry, messy here. I'm in my kids' room.
Good to me.
So this is Snap Circuit. Do you see Snap Circuit? This is a really cool game that they make electrical circuits, right? So this is how I teach them. I tell them this similar thing is in our brain. Okay, all our habits, they're part of these circuits. For example, this project, they call it project 1. You can actually, I don't know, ring bells, blah blah blah. This project 1 is habit 1. Mommy's habit 1 is yelling, for example, right? So what we do, I teach them. So this is how you involve them in your parenting. Say, this habit, this is a circuit in our brain. If you are mindful, and they're connected with glue, literally in neuroscience. I don't know the term, but there's a glue, okay? So they're not completely connected. There's a glue between them, all right? So if you're aware, and instead of this, we break this and put it here, which is a better habit, right? We literally are breaking, but it takes time. The glue doesn't go that way, right? It takes time. That's why at least we need 30 days to do something to break this glue. So when we do this is, for example, compassion, and this is the same circuit, right? This is the same neural pathway, okay? So there is a definite amount of glue in this pathway, right? So if we are connecting these two, some of this glue should come this way, right? So it's getting reduced from here, and it's coming here, and poof, they break, because most of the glue comes here to the compassion instead of the trigger. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Love it.
So
Love
this is
it.
how you
Yes.
teach your children. Okay, this habit, because that way you're externalizing. I'm not a bad person to yell. That's how you actually parent yourself. I'm not a bad person to yell. That's my program in there. That's my trigger. That's my perfectionism. That's a neural pathway. And then you try to break it by being mindful, by doing meditation, by doing all sorts of things that we don't have time right now to talk. And it is so important. Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually want to have you back on more of that mindfulness.
Yeah, that'll be good.
More of that.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I just one last thing I have to mention is that, so all this knowledge that I gave you and took notes, we are using a neocortex part of the brain. So you're using a different part of the brain, right? But if you try to integrate it and do it with emotion and involve emotion and really do it sometimes, then we use the limbic brain. So it's a different part of the brain. But if you do it so often, and don't give up, don't feel guilty, the 30 days, 60 days, then we use the cerebellum. That is when it actually, the compassion becomes a circuit, right? But it takes time because we have to do it on and on. And I'm 41 years old. My program of perfectionism have been there for 41 years old. So it takes time. So if I just give myself chance, reward myself, I'm doing better. Everything is going. Yeah. Anyway, so but you just sit back up and you just don't let everything, oh, I feel so bad. I have a conscious parenting lecture in my daughter's school next week and I'm still yelling. It's okay. I'm conscious of it at least, right? And I apologize, I repair it, and I take it as an opportunity to teach even more. Say, see, let's cooperate more. Mommy's became and I use actually this. I said, mommy became unconscious. Or when my husband does that, I'm sorry, he was unconscious. You use these words. They like it. They understand it. We think that we assume so many things. But they actually understand these concepts and they learn it so much better than us. So we involve them. We have family rules, as I said, very few of them. And family meetings is so important again. And then emotional intelligence is so important. So when they have, you see negative behaviors and whatever is going on, any age, you can start this, I think, 2 years old. So you sit, and one of the things that we do, I don't know where I put that, but the Inside Out movie, I recommend it to everyone. Inside Out movie. I think that's brilliant, the most brilliant piece ever written, really. So we bring those anger, disgust, blah, blah, blah. We bring those, and even have, I think Costco has the book.
I love it. That's great.
So we bring the emotion out, and then only 10 seconds. So as I said, I think I mentioned this before in one of our calls, that the duration of the emotion is 90 seconds, but I think 10, 20 seconds is really enough. 10 seconds, just become brave, even for us, just to feel and go right to the feeling, feel it. If you want, cry. So when we feel that, it's melted away. Rumi says the cure for pain is in the pain. What does that mean? It's so brilliant. Oh my God. He was like really the psychologist, philosopher, whatever. So the cure for pain is in the pain. If we allow ourselves and then our children to feel it. Okay, you're angry. Let's feel our mommy is not giving you the iPad. I know you really want it. You can feel mad. I'm really mad. And then he's it's better. It's all better after 10 seconds. Because the pain is cured.
Being aware. You're just bringing awareness.
Yeah.
At its weak, and it's at its weakest.
Yeah, and you're feeling it. And you feel it's so important. And sometimes, you cry because the emotion comes out after 10, 20 seconds. Give it a try. So I think this is... Exactly. I think this is so brilliant. I haven't seen it anywhere, really. I don't know. I think it's a combination of guilds and all those things that I came up with this. And I'm trying to have my dissertation on this as well. So it's so important. 10, 20 seconds. Ask them. Let's feel our emotion. And that is why we tell them all emotions are valid, but not all behaviors and reactions are valid. So this is how we tell them. You can feel your anger, but you cannot hurt me. You cannot hurt anyone's body. You cannot hurt anyone's feelings. These are the rules. You can have all the feelings that you have. Just let's sit and we say, okay, we literally sit and we feel the emotion and then we find the solution.
Beautiful.
Okay?
That is so beautiful. It's inspiring. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This is so useful to so many. So
the Byron Katie, she says, their job is not to change. Their job is to set you free. All right?
Yes.
So this is how we look at them. They're not a problem to solve. They're here to raise us. And when we are raised, they are raised.
That's great. Thank you so much, Arayeh. Thank you so much for guesting with us today.
Thank you. It was really good.
Well, great luck to you at the school. That's next week, right?
Yeah, February 2nd. That's my first big, because I don't know how many will show up, but the previous workshop was kind of around 20. So this one I think is big, so I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, that's great. Well, we'd love to have you back, so I'll be in touch.
Sure, yeah. I'll be glad to come. This is awesome. I'll come whenever you want me to.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone, for being a beautiful part of this consciousness.
I have a quick question for you, Lise.
Go ahead. Oh.
So you've had this session recorded. It might be a good idea to let people know how they can gain access to this recording. If you're putting it on a website or something, or it's just going to be available on Blab. Because I would highly recommend, this was a very good session with you guys, that you tweet it out to all the people that were in participation so they had an archive of that link. Because I know I want an archive of it. I want access to it.
Sure, for sure. Let me see.
And then also, you may want to let people know what your relationship is about whether it's okay to share this link or not.
They can.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Well, and that's great. And those kind of things like terms and conditions, certain people don't want their recording shared. My audience would want to hear this, and I'd want to bring my audience to hear this discussion.
Okay,
awesome.
For sure. Yeah, and we actually have a YouTube channel,
Great.
Fabulous Playground, and I usually give links to everyone's websites and links to or resources of what we brought up. So I'll have all that available today. Randy's going to help me here too.
Okay, great.
Cool. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that.
There's the YouTube link there. And all of the videos will go there.
Okay. great.
Okay.
How do we share that in the future?
If you go to your site and you copy the address link, then you just paste it down in the comments.
Oh,
you
got
Okay,
it.
so
Okay.
you just uploaded the blab into YouTube. Is that right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
at the end of the recording.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna also put the YouTube link in my blog. My blog is called www.beloveknow.com. And I also have a Facebook page, Be Love Know. If you search Be Love Know or /Be Love Know, I'll put it there.
Did I do that right? Is that right, Randy? Did I?
Yeah.
.com, right, Arayeh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully, if I have time to write a blog post, I'm not sure if it's now or not. I have an assignment right now. Okay.
Cool.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, thanks everybody. So I'm going to stop the recording and I will post this. Yes, absolutely. Thanks everybody.
Bye.